Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea if you're new here. If you're not new, my name is still Chelsea. Don't you forget it. But also thank you for coming back. You are the realist. I do appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that. Across all social media, I am at CCsuarez. I give you updates on things on Instagram. You'll see a lot of my bulldog, a lot of me and my husband. I do Q&As over there. I give you video updates. I honestly just do a lot over there. So follow me on there for sure. And then on TikTok, I'm extra spicy. I like it because I can just like reply to a troll's, well, a hun, but usually a troll's comment with a video. So I can just like extra debunk them. I'm obsessed with that aspect of it. Anyways, follow me on there if you'd like to watch any of my other commentary videos, anti-MLM, true crime, that'll all be linked up there. And also my Arbonne deep dive video will be linked up there as well. If you haven't watched that, I do suggest that you do watch it because, I mean, it's one, a good video. And if you haven't watched it, why not? You need to. But also, it'll give you a little bit more of like insight into this video that we're doing right now. So I actually had the pleasure of interviewing someone at Arbonne Corporate. He worked there. This individual worked for Arbonne for, I believe, like 6 years in their customer service department. And it was a lot. He told me a lot of things. Now, I will be disguising like his voice a bit and then also his face as well, just for his own privacy. And I am sorry for the like quality of the actual interview itself, because I did it off of just like off of my computer's webcam, just because, I don't know, I wanted it to just be more relaxed and, you know, have him feel more comfortable. So basically, you're just gonna watch the Zoom, the like Zoom interview I did with him. If y'all would like any other type of interview style videos, I love this. I think it really sheds a light on these types of companies. And I think it's a really good way to expose these companies as well. You know, Arbonne people can't come for me and be like, oh my God, no, that's completely wrong, when we're hearing it straight from someone who worked for the company for 6 years. Obviously, everyone has different experiences, but you know, it's very telling. So I hope you enjoy this interview, and let's go ahead and roll that. How long did you work for Arbonne?
I started working for Arbonne actually through a BPO, which is a business, I think it's business process outsourcing, something like that. That's what it stands for. So basically, you know, we were contracted through this BPO, and that started January 5th, I think, of 2015.
Yeah. That's a long time. And have you enjoyed your time there? Did it start out okay?
It definitely did start out okay. You know, when we did the trainings, everything seemed to be, you know, really nice and flow really well. And then I still remember to this day, my very first call that I ever got was some old man that was yelling at me because they didn't receive an auto ship order. But Arbonne didn't inform the new trainees that they had actually just done away with auto ships. I'm over here like, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I have no idea. And he's just getting angrier and angrier. And of course, it just gets to the point where I just like, after I got off the call, I just like cried to my supervisor. I'm like, this is the worst job ever. I wanted to leave already. But obviously I did.
How many angry customers or distributors would you say that you got every month or week?
I would say it's been growing and growing exponentially in terms of number of angry customers that we would get, because they aren't the best at communicating some of the things that happen. And we would get a lot of customers that would call in that would say, you know, I'm not getting any emails from Arbonne.
So you would get a lot of people who weren't getting emails from them?
Right. A lot of people that weren't getting emails, you know, like even that even goes back to my very first call that I told you about with that guy that got mad about his auto ships. No one told him that they're not doing it anymore. And it's getting worse at this point because we are, you know, they didn't renew their contract with us because they've outsourced to Panama and Guatemala.
Really, the only reason any company would do that is because it's cheaper for them, which that just shows that they're putting money before their customers and not fixing anything, which is unfortunate. Now, have you ever been in an MLM?
No, absolutely not. And definitely not going to be after this. You know, this is about as close as I'm going to get to being in an MLM. I just, you know, I've met a few MVPs that are really just killing it and making some really good money. But when you see what it takes to get there and like the kind of social stigma that comes along with it, it's like, I would not even want to be a part of that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Well, from the corporate side, what was the perception of the distributors from people on the other side?
Well, I remember, when I started that there was a very big push to change the dialogue from customers to consultants, to start calling them consultants consistently. I guess that they were having a problem with that within their customer service field. Supervisors would review calls, and if they got called a customer, then that's a coaching that we would have to do.
We all know that they are a customer. The main customer and the majority of the sales from MLMs do come from the inside. So that's
Right.
very interesting. Wow. The BPO what you were with, was that like the entirety of like the customer service department, or were there customer service people who were actually under like Arbonne and not like contracted in with them?
I do believe there was a smallish team of actual contracted with Arbonne. I'm pretty sure at this point that they're strictly they're Guatemalan and Panama teams now. I think it's pretty much just that at this point.
Either way, they've been outsourcing customer service for forever, if you think about it. Yeah, having that company contracted and then now going to a cheaper one. So
Right.
that is very, very interesting, especially with how a lot of their reps will say things like, oh, our customer service is the best and blah, blah. And no offense to y'all, but there's only so much you can do when you're not actually having that communication with the actual company.
That was the other thing, too. They were supposed to be under the impression that we were in Irvine, California. I had to tell them that we were either there or Addison, Texas was the other place we could tell them we were. They thought that we had that direct communication with Arbonne, but we really didn't. If there was ever a situation where, they needed to speak to somebody much higher up, or we needed to communicate with somebody much higher up, we could send an email and it would go through 3 different channels before it got to the person that needs to get to.
Yeah.
But so at that point, it's like maybe, 4 days later that we're finally getting an answer to this question that we asked, and then just really held things up that way.
What complaint had you heard most frequently, either from, within like the corporate side, or from, the BPO, or with customers or distributors themselves?
It's funny, going back to the auto ship thing that was taken away when I started, but was added back. And I think it's one of the biggest scams they're running there. Is this auto ship thing that kind of it's a little button that sits on the side of any product you're placing in your cart. And if you click that button, it checks it, and then it will automatically send you that product every 30 days. A lot of people are not particularly familiar with how to navigate the internet, and seeing something that says auto ship, there's no explanation of what that means on the page.
It doesn't feel like subscription.
Right. They're like, oh, yes, I do want my product to ship to me. So, yes, auto ship. But then they get that same order the next month, and it might be $300, it might be $500 just charged to their card, and they're mad.
Now, are there crazy stories or anything, or anything you would like to share about this MLM in general, or even about the products? I mean, that's something that a lot of people talk about. I'll be highlighting in a video probably in like 2 weeks, because I have so many to film and edit, but I'll be highlighting in one the 30 days to healthy living that I cannot stand that they do. And it's literally just like, why do you have to spend this money to just work out and drink water and cut out, like do a modified keto? Like, why do you need Arbonne to be a part of that? That doesn't matter. It's not how that should work. So I personally hate that probably the most. But what would you say about that?
Pretty much in agreement with you on that. The 30 days to healthy living is probably the biggest selling kit. Especially on like a preferred client registration order, I would see those on almost every one, because generally speaking, Arbonne's offering some kind of free registration when you spend a certain amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Almost always they're offering something, it's varying amounts, but they're usually offering something that, the 30 days to healthy living kit just so happens to be enough qualifying volume to get that free registration. So a lot of people get on that. And then, I've also probably seen a similar number of people returning that product, canceling their registration. They don't want to be a part of it. You know, and that happens. So some people even call in hours after they've ordered and they're like, I don't want anything to do with this product. Cancel my order.
Did you have a lot of experience or hear of a lot of people, you know, calling in and wanting to, you know, after they maybe signed up to be a part of the MLM, you know, calling in wanting to cancel? And was that difficult for them? I've heard a lot of MLMs, they make it, you know, maybe a little bit difficult, but what is your experience, or what has your experience been with that?
Gotten better at helping people to cancel their accounts. I know when I started, it was an absolute nightmare. They had to, you know, fax something, and that was the only option. They had to fax
You
something
have
in.
a fax, even in the 2000s. What?
Right? Yeah, no, absolutely. And then if they pushed back on having to send in a fax, we would always be like, "Oh, well, just go to Staples or go to your library." I'm like,
Your library. Go to
yeah,
Kinko's.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so it was definitely more difficult. It's gotten a lot easier, much more lenient in terms of what you need to do to specify that you're done. You know, we can kind of take verbal statements now.
Did you have any experience with anyone, obviously on the distributor side, with them maybe having complaints or disputes with like their paychecks or anything? I know obviously that would be more so like a payroll issue, but did you ever have any experience with that?
I did definitely get some calls where people were, you know, they were expecting one thing and then got another. You know, a lot of people would sometimes not realize that their clients had returned product, and then, you know, they would be expecting a certain commission payout, and then that's not what they got, and then they'd call us. They're all upset. You know, sometimes they might get like $7 in a paycheck, which I think is just ridiculous. Why would you even cut it at that point? But, you know, unfortunately, it always is. It always does come down to, usually it's correct that that's because of everything that's going on in the system. That, you know, unfortunately, yeah, you didn't make that money anymore because they did a return.
So on like their back office, they're not told or notified if someone like quits below them or someone returns something or cancels something?
They do receive information on their back office, but, you know, like, again, a lot of people that aren't super hardcore serious about this, you know, they don't get an email anymore if someone returns something. They used to.
Oh, okay.
But they no longer get an email because the theory is that the website is just so good that they can do everything they need to do directly from the website. But it does, you know, get a little bit convoluted for some people who are struggling with understanding how this website works.
Just all in all, what are your thoughts as someone who has, you know, worked directly for an MLM on that, you know, on the other side of it for so long? What are overall your thoughts on maybe not even just Arbonne, but of course, you know, please do talk about that. But what are your thoughts on MLMs in general?
Not a fan. I definitely not a fan. I think that they keep changing up the dialogue for everything to try and just sucker people in a little bit more.
All right, friends, like I said, I hope you enjoyed that interview. I personally did. I thought it was very telling and just reiterated the fact that MLMs don't give a shit. And yes, when it comes to business in general, like me and this individual said, sure, we get it. A business needs to make money, but also a lot of businesses that are extremely successful take their customer service very, very seriously. MLMs don't. They don't care. They just care about the money and keeping people in, which we both agreed that we think that Arbonne is going to lose a good amount of reps, because it seemed from like what he said that the reps really, really did rely on the customer service reps a lot and them being able to help. So when you don't have that relationship there, or you have someone who, you know, is being outsourced from a whole nother country, and sure, yeah, they might be able to, you know, speak English pretty well, you know, very well, but still they're not going to be able to do a whole lot for you, which is extremely unfortunate. And also just from my experience, typically whenever companies do outsource their a certain department, which it usually is customer service, they want it's only because it's cheaper for them. That's the only reason why. That's it. But also a lot of times you see customer satisfaction with that aspect of the business go way down, like way down. Of course, their reps is where they're making all their money because they are customers, not consultants, like this person said. Also, another thing that me and this person had discussed previously, and that he also mentioned in this email now, is that the company that the third-party company basically that he had worked for that had the Arbonne contract, and that was like the only one that they were contracted with basically. So yes, he did work for Arbonne. Realistically, he worked for Arbonne more than the actual 1099, customers did, or clients, consultants, whatever you want to call them. So that one, it's well known that like 90% of their employees, and this is directly coming from him, 90% of their employees are veterans and people with disabilities. So I feel like that adds a whole nother fucked up aspect of it, that Arbonne was just like, oh no, this isn't working out for us anymore. We need to cut this off. So I think that's really fucked up. Okay, so this says, and I actually need to download this. Okay, so this is, my tracker shows that I earned the trip. Now what do I do? Congratulations on earning the Arbonne incentive trip for 2021. We can't wait to see you in the Bahamas. There are a few things that need to happen before you can log in and claim your trip. Number 1, June 1st through July 14th, the Arbonne incentive trip audit will be in process. What the fuck does that mean? Number 2, July 15th, all Arbonne incentive trip 2021 official congratulations emails will be sent out. Oh, okay. So the audit means like they're figuring out who is able to go. That makes sense. And then they're going to send out the email like, hey bitch, you get to go. Number 3, July 15th through the 31st. Once you receive your official congratulations email, you will need to log in and claim your trip, register your second guest. It's nice that they get a second guest, and add all pertinent information. If applicable, you may also register and pay any and all guest fees for your third and fourth guests. Who's going to bring a third and fourth guest? Like, especially if you're paying for it, what are you doing? Okay. Number 4, now that you've received your official congratulations email, claimed your trip, and registered all additional guests, you may now purchase all airline tickets and add additional information so that we can set up your airport transportation for pickup and drop off in Atlantis in the Bahamas. All right, guys, so whenever you see an Arbonne rep saying, look at this free trip, you can call them out on it and be like, nah, bitch, Chelsea has proof. But that is it for this video, and I really hope y'all enjoyed. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. If you have been at the top of an MLM, email me, let me know. Put in the subject line, top 1% interview, and I would love to interview you. Of course, just like this one, I will keep you completely anonymous if you want. If you don't want that, then that's cool too. We can put you on blast. That's all right. I know a lot of people want to be anonymous, and I respect that for sure. So I offer that, of course. So as always, please know how valuable you are. You are way better than being stuck in one of these schemy, shitty companies and just being taken advantage of in general. So you're the realist. Stay spicy. Always remember to stay spicy, stay assertive, be the bad bitch that you are. And I love you, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.